All right. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad at all. Oops. We're live. We're live. We're live. Welcome, welcome. Sorry about the delay, folks. Hi, Dolores. Welcome in, welcome in. I think we're good now. Audio sound all right? All right, it's a Tuesday night tweak stream featuring hot tracks and deep cuts, which I purchased on my trip to the Big Shitty today. Going through some of these titles that we'll be talking about. Right on. Thank you, Dolores. We'll be talking about some stuff I uncovered about the Lane Myers YouTube situation, Matthew Walker's Supreme Court petition, stufferoni. So that'll be a little later on. And just some other miscellaneous things that we'll get around to. So let's see if anybody else shows up. Dolores, were you, did you find me through the Lane Myers stuff? Lane Myers connection? What am I looking for here? Sorry, I've got several devices I juggle to make this all possible. So I've got my streaming stuff over here, and I got an additional laptop over here. I'm still halfway setting myself up here. I think we're more or less ready to go. Anyways, Dolores, you like to rock and roll? Some of this music I purchased today. What's the matter, you? Audio sucks? You mean, all right, thank you for your mediocre at best input there. Hi, Mr. Osgood. Welcome, what's the matter? You're always welcome on my streams until you're not. Anyways, actually, I'll go through some of the stuff I bought a while ago. Do you guys remember Primus? Primus sucks. Well, I found pork soda and Sailing the Seas of Cheese on CD. We've got a Ramones Greatest Hits CD I got a while ago. I got more in the truck. I buy CDs to listen to in the truck, so I got a whole bunch of old AC/DC. There's the Live. If you want blood, actually, what's the matter? If you want to understand AC/DC, get this one. If you want blood, you got it. It's a short live album, but it's got kind of all the essentials with Bon Scott. Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, High Voltage, and Let There Be Rock is in the truck. Primus Rocks? Well, yeah, I know that. But, okay, yeah, so you were over on Lane's Live. I thought so. And then today, I found ABBA Greatest Hits. I mean, that's a throwback to when I was a wee child. Grew up with that stuff. And then there was ZZ Top's Greatest Hits. And it was cheap. So, what's this? Stevie Ray Vaughan, Instep. Alice Cooper, Trash. Paid a little too much for that. Van Halen, Women and Children First. And then I found this interesting one. It's Iron Maiden, some Japanese release. Senjutsu. It's a double release. I'd never heard of it, but the artwork looked pretty wild, so I figured I'd pick it up and give it a try. I like some of the older Iron Maiden, but whatever. Give it a try. So then, what did we get today? Leave these ones for last. So, yeah, I got my. How's the farm going? Well, I'm in the process of getting it ready for sale because I'm already kind of making plans to move to the next place. So, it's kind of going to be a bit of a push to get it ready for the market for May or June. Like, it's going to be real presentable by then. Right now, it just looks like a frozen pile of shit. But once things thaw out around here, which is this week, we're supposed to be getting some really mild weather, like in the 50s and 60s degree range. Be able to get a bunch of stuff done, haul some stuff away, get stuff organized in the house as far as moving stuff out of here. Dealing with the animals. Dolores still hiding. Yep, he's still here. He ain't leaving. He's too afraid of Lane Myers to set foot outside of his little piggy palace there. But anyways, I found some Hank Williams. This is the greatest hits, and then some more Hank Williams, the immortal Hank Williams. So between these two, I think that's about all the Hank Williams I'm going to need for the rest of my life. So that's good. A couple of Jeff Beck's. So this is his first solo album. Looking forward to this. I'm not even too familiar with Jeff Beck's solo stuff, but a lot of his Yardbirds, and he's kind of just an all-around guitar virtuoso. He's been featured on many other artists. I like his work on Roger Waters' Amused to Death. And then here, Jeff Beck with the Jan Hammer group. So we'll have to see how these ones. I'm not familiar with any of this. Then I got me the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Are You Experienced? And these are all in very good shape too. Like they're not mint condition, but I'd say good to very good condition. Then a little electric Ladyland with the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Is this it's a double live or something? I don't even know. Whatever, we'll find out. Okay, and then I had on my last record reveal. Yeah, well, no, it's not everything the way I wanted it. I'm about halfway through the 20-year project, but it's kind of coming to an end at this point. It's small here. It's 5 acres, and I can't actually do everything I want, but it's it is what it is. Van Halen kind of sucks. Well, they kind of do, they kind of don't, but I don't know. I like their older stuff with David Lee Roth. Van Halen was in fact given their start by Kiss, kind of discovered by Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons. So they toured with Kiss back in their early days in the late 70s, mid to late 70s, and so they were an opening act for Kiss for quite a while, and that's kind of how they got their break or got their name out there. But here, this one is, in fact, Mr. Joe Walsh live album. So again, this was pretty cheap, and I mean, this one is for What's the Matter. I don't know if you could read the title, but it's called You Can't Argue with a Sick Mind. So you should like that one. More Uncle Joe. But seriously, folks, nice gatefold, artwork. I mean, some of the creativity they put into these cover art is amazing. There Goes the Neighborhood by Joe Walsh. I'm not too familiar with anything on this one. Maybe Down on the Farm? I don't know. Here's Johnny Cash. The Orange Blossom Special. What do we got on here? Looks like he's got some potential. And then Johnny Cash at San Quentin. So that's going to be a goodie. Oh, here's one for you guys. Gotta love the cover art on this one. Molly Hatchet, Flirting with Disaster. Yeah, would be nice to get an update from Lane. Yeah, that's another thing we could talk about. I was talking about this on Sunday, I believe. Who was here? Sylvia, maybe? Where I've got that app on my iPhone, that Getting Out, GTL or whatever app. And I actually phoned customer service on the phone to tell them I was having trouble activating my app. And they said, "Oh no, it'll work now." And then I tried to use it and it still didn't work. So I guess I got to call them again. It's kind of ridiculous. But there's a few people that have the app and they're, I guess, getting messages to and from. I just had told, kind of put it out there, whoever is able to message Lane, tell him I can get his messages, but I can't send messages back. So let's try setting, maybe it's working now. So I got my, yeah. So whenever I try to send a message, it tells me I gotta complete my profile, and so I've done this numerous times. I've sent this extra information that they're asking for. I'm not going to show you my driver's license, but I always get this pending review message, and I don't know if that's pending from the app or from the institution where he's at Pima County, but I just can't get through. So screw them. I'll just have to make something else work. In one of the most recent hearings, I seem to remember Lane and his lawyer mentioning that a group is going to help him, maybe the ACLU. Possibly. Like he made a request to me, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. We'll get through the rest of these albums. I got a Patsy Cline Greatest Hits. This is probably the last Patsy Cline I'll get in my lifetime. Here's a nice one. Frampton. Frampton Comes Alive. Weird gatefold. This is supposed to be like a big poster here. Isn't that cool? Nice gatefold. Some good list in there. I just need to get a good turntable and receiver happening. Then we got Tammy Wynette's Greatest Hits. Again, that's probably the only Tammy I'm gonna buy in my life. But there's a few songs on there I was interested in. Then here's one. Got Ted Nugent's first solo album. So this one's got The Stranglehold on it. Stormtroopin', Snakeskin Cowboys, Motor City Madhouse. Some goodies on there. And what do we got? This one's a little... Took a chance on this. I don't know if I know anything on this. Oh yeah, Easy Living. Uriah Heep. Demons and Wizards. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Demons and Wizards. So these are a prog band from England. I kind of vaguely remember them back from when I was a wee lad, listening to some of their stuff. We'll figure that out. And then there's a best of Uriah Heep as well. So we'll see what those are in any good shape. They should be. Then we found a copy of ZZ Top Fandango. This is one I used to play over and over and over when I was 12, 13, 14 years old. This was a good one. The live side of this album is just amazing. Such a good jam. And then found a decent copy of the Beatles, Abbey Road. Oh, something about this album I like. I'm not a huge Beatles fan in general, but I like Abbey Road. And then that brings us to the Coupe. I found Alice Cooper Goes to Hell. And this is one I had on vinyl back in the day. And this one is Warner Brothers Canada, so probably, at least it's not Columbia House. And then as well, $1 Billion Babies. So this one is shaped like a snakeskin leather or snakeskin wallet. It actually had a poster that was included in the original. That was $1 billion bill. And I think legend has it that they actually got in trouble with the U.S. Treasury for printing an imitation currency, but it was just a joke. So I guess it's missing from here, and then there's some more cover art on the record sleeve. Well, that's kind of a neat one. So, what's my favorite album? I don't have a favorite album. Like I don't know if you've been watching any of my music content, but I did a retrospective on Kiss. I did one on Pink Floyd. I did one on Alice Cooper. I've recorded one about like these Southern rockers. I haven't been able to upload it. There's something either wrong with YouTube or my hardware setup here. And so I don't know. Like with Alice Cooper, I start to listen to his music and I don't have a favorite album as his, and he's quite possibly my favorite recording artist of all time because I just so identify with the archetype of the tragic hero, the anti-hero seeking redemption or something. Like if you go back and look at the profile I did on Alice Cooper, like it so mirrors my experience what his experience was. Like I can so relate to him, and in a kind of profound way. And so Floyd was one of, yeah, Echoes. I did a whole thing on Echoes, and I mentioned this before, like that album Metal, that was released like within the same day as when I was born. It was like, depending on where you were in the world, I think there were different dates it was released, like whether you were in the UK or the US or Canada. But it's like that album was released either on November 1st or October 31st, and my birthday is November 2nd of 1971. And so it's almost like that sound was being put out into the world to welcome me into existence. And so, I mean, that's just the way I think of it. So, but with Floyd, it's like, I'll listen to Dark Side, and it's like, oh, this is so good. Or I'll go back to Metal, and it's like, man, this is the best. Or then I go to The Wall, and it's like, oh, I can't get enough of this. And so it's like hard to pick one album of all time. Like, yeah, if you were on a desert island and you could only have one book or one album with you, like what would it be that you could listen to forever? I don't know. That's a tough one, especially with Alice Cooper. I go to, especially the original Alice Cooper band. You'll look at Killer and think, man, this is so good, and then there's School's Out on the shelf, and you pick that one. I was like, yeah, this is the best. Until you pick up, From the Inside. It's like, holy smokes, this one really hits. And then, but Goes to Hell is really good. And then, I don't know, like they all have such, like Killer. I don't think there's a bad song on Killer. Same with School's Out. You listen to that whole album through, and it's very obscure stuff. Aside from the hit School's Out itself, everything else is kind of B-side material, and it's sort of deep cuts, and there's some jazzy stuff and show tunes, like not stuff you would expect from the shock rock horror rockin' band, but it was amazing. Like, not that they were all amazing musicians, but they had a really nice groove and like very tight sounding in the studio, and the show was just over the top. So yeah, I have lots of reflections and opinions on Alice, and before we get into the Lane Meyer stuff, I wanted to show you this. I just saw this morning, so we'll go back to Where's this thing? I'm gonna share screen with you here. See if this works. Oh, I'm gonna have to play this here. Just bear with me. I gotta set you up on my other laptop so I can see what's going on here. If you're seeing what I'm seeing. Well, hopefully you're seeing the Alice Cooper, official Alice Cooper YouTube homepage. So just give me a second here, folks. Ah, yes, that's exactly what you're seeing. Okay, because I've got all this vinyl now, but I still don't have a good record player. So it turns out the record player I got, it works, but now the receiver that I've got, it needs either a good cleaning or I need to find a better receiver. It's just very very sketchy. And learning to fly, I didn't get into a lot of that post Roger Waters Pink Floyd. It's not terrible, but it's different. You know, it's catchy, but it kind of, to me, that song is very catchy, but it's sort of the whole shift of the band was kind of towards this genre, I guess they call now dad rock, and it's okay, but there was something about the storytelling and the kind of the poetic message of Roger Waters that really was the appeal for me with Floyd. But anyways, I'm still in the process of getting my audio hi-fi system set up here, so I'm gonna have to invest in something. But anyways, on Alice's thing today, he had this video, so I want you to watch this.
I know sound quality, and that's why I'm so excited about the Alice Cooper limited editions from Revox. This really is the ultimate way to enjoy a true analog music experience. These sound great. This audio sounds as good as it did in the studio. These real master tapes are strictly limited edition and signed by me. Revox also designed some limited edition tape machines and turntables, which are also signed by me. These machines will perform incredibly well over many decades, just like I have. And of course, they're incredibly good looking, just like me. I know sound quality, and that's why I'm so excited about the Alice Cooper limited editions from Revox. This really is the ultimate way to enjoy a true analog music experience. If you want a limited edition Alice Cooper Revox B77 or T77, you better be quick. The sound of A is everywhere. Whew, brilliant.
So there you go. Is that the coolest or what? Oh, okay, let's get back to you. Where are you? I lost you. Here you are. Here I am. Hey, welcome in, Special K. I love animals as well. Hello, Mr. Osgood. Frampton, absolutely. But did you see that turntable, that equipment? Like, that is amazing. And so, yeah, limited edition, 50 units. And so I'm thinking to myself, I need a turntable, so I'm gonna go grab that thing. And what's going on here? How do I do this? So I went over that Revox website, and I'm looking. It's like, okay, find a dealer. That's not exactly what I was looking for. And so I finally found their web store, because I guess I clicked on the right button, and scroll to the bottom. It's like, yeah, stick that in my cart, man. I want one of these. Or it said buy now, so I put it in my cart and then scroll to the bottom and saw the price, and it was $10,000 just for the just for uh, the the turntable. I didn't even look at the price of the reel to reel. So I don't know, 10 grand. Is that thing worth it or what? So I figured, I don't know, that's kind of out of my budget. So I decided, I think I'll uh, see about starting a GoFundMe. And if the money comes in for that turntable and they're still available, I'll get me an Alice Cooper turntable. So I'm gonna pin this in the chat. Oops. To the GoFundMe for Brent Shimko's turntable, and we'll see what happens. If any money comes in, I mean, realistically, I should probably get two just to have a backup. So I think I'll have to go back and change the goal to 20 grand instead of 10, because even have a parts one, just in case something breaks down. But I imagine the thing is quality. Well, it just looks gorgeous though. So whatever. We'll get our sound system squared away. And yeah, thank you, Alice Cooper. That's a gorgeous piece of machinery there. Okay, where are we at here? We'll go over. Yeah, this is the thing I was a little. Oh, we're behind here on this. Let's come up to speed. I was looking at. Not that one. This. So I'm going to switch screens back to you right away. You guys have been watching Jason's Whack stuff at all? I've been seeing his stuff. I subscribed to his channel the other day. And he's been bringing up some interesting stuff. Let me get you off of me and onto his channel on YouTube. So he's been doing some interesting digging. He's been covering some of these various topics. But then this morning he had this short, so we're going to watch this too. because I was talking about this video the other day on my stream.
I've been at work, so I missed the live, and I wanted to watch it, and then this bullshit came up. Just thought I'd put that out there just in case it's happening to everybody. I don't know. I've been at work, so I missed the live, and I wanted to watch it, and then this bullshit came up.
Yeah, so I don't.
Just thought I'd put that out there just in case it's happening to everybody. I don't know.
Okay, I'll stop that. Yeah, so
I've been at work, so I missed the live, and I wanted to.
Where you're at, you might have trouble accessing Mr. Myers' page. And so I'm up here in Canada, and this is the video he's talking
witness
about.
list. Where's the state's disclosure?
can get it
It was
to play.
due fucking July 11th. Then Crenshaw said August 9th.
I
Then
was
Mayhew
putting a
lost
bunch
her
of
fucking
community
mind
posts up
and didn't
there
enforce
today.
it. Anything that this
My
motherfucker didn't file
page
by
just
August
only
9th
one
is not
minute
valid at trial.
from
So if
this
he didn't turn
video.
over a witness list by August 9th, there's no witnesses. And if you try to enforce some kangaroo bullshit, you'll be right up.
But maybe just a recommendation. Like this is the one where we're going through the, or at least we're bringing attention to the Matt Walker petition, and in this video and the one next, let's go. What happened here? Oh, I know what happened. Okay, never mind. But there's another or how to object, I think it's called, is the title. But it's a very similar thumbnail. It's got the Lane and the judge. These thumbnails are just works of art. Well, let's go with Lane's way.
Witness list.
Stop wasting everybody's time, Brent. It's these videos down here. So this is the one that Jason Zwack is unable to play because of some copyright issue. And then this one, Lane himself, I think, begins to go through. I've been going through trying to watch this. I watched about half of this one today, and I started watching this one. So I was pulling clips out of this one here, and then this one, I guess Lane is doing something similar to what I was doing the other day, showing you how to comment on this site here. Oh my goodness, come on. Okay, no, I don't want that. Oh, I'm gonna have to reload these because I had to restart my computer I couldn't get the camera to work, so I shut everything down. Oh, here we go. Okay, yeah. So we go through this malarkey here. And the other day I actually registered, I think yesterday, I went and registered over here. So now I'm registered. So they send you a verification key by email. I forget what this was. Oh, I remember what this is. Okay, I'm gonna have to. I can do it through this site here. But anyways, Lane Myers, so he goes through, gives advice. So I would recommend, if you can access these two videos, that's regarding that 122H rule that we've been talking about for the last few days. And I guess it's kind of a big deal. Like, 122H, 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 122H. 122H, 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 1 Matt Walker is trying to shut down the process that gives people the ability to record their interactions in a court of law, open court, public court. And so between these two videos, there's lots to look at. Several hours, 7 hours worth of content there. So have at it. Watch it in 2x speed or whatever. But Jason couldn't access this, and Jason made a really not excellent comment, but something I can relate to. He's like, I'm not even a Lane Myers fan or fanboy or follower, or like, as far as Lane goes, it's not about Lane. Or he's like, it's not that I love Lane, it's I love America. So where are we here? Like, Jason is just narrating his videos pretty much with kind of his overlay. I'm gonna have to get back in there and see what's going on in the chats. If I can find you guys, where'd you go? And so okay, I'll catch up in the chats in a minute. But Jason's like, it's not about wanting to help Lane, although there's that. Like, he's like, I'm attracted to this case because this is important for Americans and America and our rights. And so we could even go through some of these clips I pulled out of that Lane Myers video and just see where Lane's coming from and how it lines up with what I've been saying too. Is like, this is a fight that Americans need to undertake. Like, I'm doing the best I can up here, but I'm in Canada, so I don't plan on commenting in Arizona law per se, because it's not that it's wrong, but it's sort of, I don't know that it's my place to do that. In any case, I think it's understood that, like, whoever's in the States, like, this is your battle there. We've actually, there was another video I wanted to show you too. I'm going to cue something up as we're talking here. Some good news we got out of Canada. And but Jason kind of puts it the way I feel about it. It's like, I do feel a connection with Lane, but it's not because he's such a sweet guy or that charismatic or whatever. It's like, he's doing something important, and he's gathered a group of people around him doing something important, but you're all a part of that important thing. And so I think we'll go and look at some of these clips just because they're interesting. But let me just see what's going on in the chat first. As well, just a reminder, if you want to get my attention in the chat, I think most of you know this, but type a little @ in front of my name, like I just typed in the chat here. And then in the chat box, you'll get a little pop-up, and you click on the name that pops up. Like, once if you want to type my name, type @BRE, and then my name should come up. And then when it shows up in the chat, it'll be bright orange for me. So, like, I'll give an example. I don't know if Dolores knows how to do this, but we're going to do Dolores's name. And are we sharing screen right now? No, we're not. Oh, that's okay. But Dolores, you're going to get a message in your chat. So and so it should show up bright orange for you. So if you type an @ before my name, or anybody that's in the chat that's participating, you'll be able to send you'll putting that little ampersand or the ant at, there you go. Yeah. Kay knows how to, Dolores knows how to. So if you need to get my attention in the chat, 25 grand. All right. Let's do it. Let's go. Thank you, Kay. I owe you one. But that's a way to communicate in a way that gets my attention. But if you want to, say, type a longer message than just whatever fits in the chat room, you could get a hold of me on Facebook Messenger. Same, just Brent Shimko on Messenger. And then it'll pop up on my phone. And if, like, I mean, you can always email me something, but I'm not necessarily going to pull up emails. I guess I could. But if you need to get a hold of me, my email is on my page, but it's brentshimko@gmail.com. That's kind of everything I'm branding is under my name, and I'll keep doing that as long as it makes sense. At a certain point, I may have to do different topics under different channels or different platforms, but typically it's going to be mostly on YouTube. So yeah, I'm just looking up. Yeah, Zwack has great attention to detail, Mr. Osgood. Yeah, I don't have that kind of legal mind to pick through like what he's seeing. So I don't know his background as far as the law, but he's picking out stuff that's potentially helpful. I just don't know how it's going to help in the current grand jury indictments. Okay, I'm going to look over here because I put the camera over here so I could look at the chat over here and make it look like I'm almost looking at you. Walquist agreed to delay the other case. So yeah, I mean it would be dirty pool to kind of kick him while he's down at this point. Praying, telepathic messages, what? Yeah, as said, we'll send smoke signals from Direct D's place to Pima County if we have to. Verify humanity. Well, that's unverifiable. Not much to love. You got a beautiful country, but I made a comment the other day. What captivates me about America is the extremes. You people are so extreme. Up here in Canada, we don't have these cultural and social extremes. And what I mean by that is like you've got the mega ultra rich and then the super duper poor. Like maybe not quite as poor as India, but pretty close. You've got extremely brilliant people, some of the smartest in the world, and then some of the stupidest effers that ever walked the face of the earth. You've got some of the most productive, innovative people and some of the most useless mother effers, mother fudgers around. Some of the funniest people and some of the most unfunny people. Like some of the most virtuous, inspiring, integrous people and some of the sleaziest dirtbags that you could imagine. So most dishonorable villains. And so you got, some of the most reasonable people and some of the most crazy batshit out of your mind tweaker people out there. And it's like we don't have those kind of extreme personalities up here. So we're kind of looking at you like there's this thing called American exceptionalism. And it's sort of that manifest destiny that is sort of bred into you or something you're raised with, or I don't know exactly how that works, but like it's a real thing, and so it kind of motivates you or propels you to be and do what you are. And yeah, okay, I'm just reading. Dolores, Canada would be a better country if it didn't mirror the UK. No, it'd be better if we weren't controlled by China. That's the reality of it. The greatest news out of Canada is the Red Green Show. Agreed, absolutely. Or Trailer Park Boys. That's a good documentary about Canada as well. Don't know what's happening with Kat. I mean, that's kind of my concern. Like, I want to appeal to her. Is like, stick with it, man. Stick with Lane. Bob Weir. That name sounds familiar. Not case over here. Okay. Duly noted. Balance can be overrated too, but it's like, yeah, I don't know what it's just sort of the, yeah, Kay knows. Bubbles, Julian, Ricky, what was I gonna say? Seems weird to me how many people are happy to become fanatics. Yeah, well, a lot of what I talk about on this channel would be considered extreme or extremism or fanaticism of a certain kind because it doesn't fit within the Overton window or it's disruptive to the status quo, and that's what this is all about. Oh, right, Grateful Dead, Bob Weir. I've been seeing some interviews about that Bob's done. I don't know about recently, but they're coming up on my YouTube feed, and yeah, just hearing the Grateful Dead story, like they were kind of disrupting the status quo of their day. So, the look I compare this to is homeless Karl Marx, actually, but Bob Weir, that's fine. I mean, I don't have the gray hair though. I got just the gray beard. So, but what I was gonna say is the status quo is what needs to be destroyed, and especially in the legal system or the justice system or government. And so, how do you go about doing that? And so, Lane Meyer's channel for nonviolent social change, it's like this is how we do it. We can do this the nonviolent way, or like what you'd prefer we do it a different way than the nonviolent way. Like, I mean, that ought to be his defense. If you're feeling intimidated, threatened, harassed, like we're all about the nonviolent path here. Please don't make us choose a different option. You know, we're begging you. But anyways, I'm gonna go and show some of these Lane Myers clips because I was pretty not impressed by them, but there's some good stuff here. So where are we here? Sorry if I'm talking softly. It's just been doing a lot of talking today. Trying to save my voice. Right, which one was first? Let's try this one first. I want to see if these all come up. Yeah, okay, here's a clip.
All right, so remember now, people, you ready? Everybody got their permission? Anybody? Remember now, this is a volunteer militia of Leegull. All right, so we're a legal militia, but we're volunteer. Anybody that wants to come on this legal fight we're about to go on, you have to have permission slip. Make sure you got permission slips. Make sure you got your ink, your pad and paper. And make sure you got your magic fingers ready. And make sure you got your, because this ain't a one-man battle where you all just going to sit back. This is hey, we're going to storm. We're going to we're going to the Arizona Supreme Court. So, and I need y'all to be able to be ready to speak for yourselves. This isn't just watch Lane speak on behalf of the people. This is the people are going to speak on behalf of Lane. Okay? And each other. All right, so remember now, people, you
There you go. So that's kind of the rallying cry for the nonviolent army. So I thought that was kind of just a call to action. And it's not just about Lane, right? It's all of us that are active participants in this. So there was that one. This one is kind of pretty neat too.
audience, I know I want to be respectful from the worldwide. They see, oh, America, America. I respect all cultures. This particular issue is a localized United States and the struggle that's going on. I'm sure it's going around in countries all around the world. This issue is greater than just the United States, but this is very much a fight of what it says on paper for Americans, right? It's what it says on paper for Americans, right? And so the reason I'm being like, oh yeah, because when I say the people, that doesn't mean this isn't the people of the world, but this specific fight is taking place for pertaining to United States citizens, but it's empowering people around the world because, you know, America has like free speech. It's like the whole world should have, but it's like, hey, I'm just able to say more things than so in other places where you wouldn't be able to be this confidence.
Okay, so that was another one. Again, it's sort of, as much as I want to help and get right in the battle, it's sort of, I'm Canadian, and I think this is something you guys have to deal with locally. So again, if outside interference in your legal system is what you want, well, let me know and maybe we can make something happen. Where are we? One more clip from Brother Lane. This is all from that same video that I had shown you earlier.
There you go.
This one's kind of interesting too.
We'll go through some of my ancient wisdom. If you decide that you want to help me change the world, the easiest way is by practicing 5 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personal. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best and be skeptical, but learn to listen. It's not the strongest or the smartest of us that survive. It's the one that's willing to evolve and adapt. Ooh. Y'all know this one too, don't you? On the first part of the journey, I was looking at all the life. There were plants and birds and rocks and things there. There you go. We'll go through some.
There you go. So that one I liked. I clipped that because it just gives you a little peek into the kind of guy Lane is. Like, he's not this crazy lunatic. I mean, we've all been there during his live streams. Let's close this down. Get camera back on. Back to and yeah, so I've been going and seeing a lot of stuff. People are covering this from different angles, whether they're Lane Myers haters or America haters or who knows what. And these people just don't know Lane. Like, I mean, okay, I've never met him in person either, but from what I've seen about Lane, he's not the crazy person that they're making him out to be. And so it bugs me when you see this, but it's not a matter of responding to every attack. That's not the point. It's oh yeah, what I was gonna say too. If you're having trouble viewing Lane's videos, maybe try a VPN that's located in Canada or Australia or something. If you can't view stuff that's copyrighted specifically from the United States, I don't use a VPN. I'm not too concerned about what did I do? It's dumb. That was not smart. YouTube Canada. Let's just do this. Can't see what I'm doing anyway. Camera's on me. But yeah, I would suggest if you're having trouble viewing, try a VPN from a different location than the USA. So I don't know if anybody's run into that issue besides Jason Zwack. Oh. Let's find it in my... Here we go. So this is a guy I watch daily. He does a daily Canadian political show.
Lots going on as usual.
Let's just mute that for a second. We're just going to watch the last couple of minutes because this is kind of good news came out of Canada. Remember the, what was that scamdemic thing with Delio 4 or 5 years ago? Well, we had a Canadian politician that was running into trouble there. And so I want to play this little clip for you as well. I just want to kind of cue it up before I share it. Well, let me try something here.
And I hope she wins, but I mean, I understand, again, what's going on. Maxime Bernier says, Pickering City Councillor Life Liberty Lisa has been persecuted by the city council for standing up against wokeism and for her constituents. Now she's fighting for the people of Pickering, Brooklyn as a PPC candidate. Watch my discussion with her. So good for him. Congratulations, sir. And support her. So there you go. Check that out if you're interested. And the last...
Okay, I've got it queued up, so I'll switch back to the screen share in a second. Where are we? Okay, this is Mark Peralvis, Canada Poly. I was reposting a bunch of his stuff on my Twitter just because, I don't know, he needs the exposure. He was canceled from YouTube back in the day for questioning his local council on whether it was transgender policies or something like that. He's got a really interesting take. He's funny. Got a great sense of humor, and he gets waist deep in the muck and the mire on Twitter. So he does it so we don't have to. He kind of just how do you say gathers information from various people he's following on the news that the mainstream isn't covering. Actually, we are the mainstream. If you're watching this, independent media is the mainstream now. Nobody's paying attention to CBC or CNN or Fox nowadays. Like, they've just become completely irrelevant. But here's a story about this Canadian politician that was canceled during the scamdemic for having outdoor gatherings when it was forbidden by local laws. So let's just watch this clip. It's 3 or 4 minutes, but it's a victory because I guess it was taken to appeal Supreme Court of Ontario, and rule in his favor. But we'll watch this. So I'm gonna play this, go use the bathroom, and you can watch this, and we'll come back and talk.
Last story before we cut the stream today is about Randy Hillier, and it's interesting. He's won. He was able to outlast and carry this all the way through to a win, and that's so unlikely. So good for him. Congratulations, sir. No More Lockdowns Canada is responding to the Justice Centre for Constitutional Freedoms, and they say Randy Hillier's won his appeal in his charter challenge to COVID gathering restrictions in Ontario. This morning, a justice of the Ontario Court of Appeal ruled I would find that the challenged gathering limits in effect from April 17th, 21 to May 22nd, 21 violated Section 2C of the Charter in a manner that cannot be justified under Section 1. Accordingly, I would allow the appeal. The Justice Centre President, John Carpace, said, "It's refreshing to see a court do its job of protecting our charter freedoms by holding government to a high standard. There was no science behind Ontario's total ban on all outdoor protests." Read the full story here. And Randy Hillier, or No More Lockdowns, says for 4.5 years, former MPP Hillier has been battling in the courts for the COVID lockdowns that criminalized peaceful assembly were unconstitutional. Today he's won. The Ontario Court of Appeals has sided with Randy Hillier and has protected peaceful assembly. Many thanks to John Carpe and the Justice Centre for Constitutional Freedoms. I think that's the one that it is. And so great news, right? Great news. Randy Hillier's talking about this here.
Well, great news today. It's April 7th, 2025, and 4.5 years of fighting in the legal courts about COVID lockdowns has come to an end. Today, the Ontario Court of Appeals has sided with my view that the mandates during COVID that prevented us and criminalized us getting together to oppose the lockdowns was unconstitutional. So kudos to the three justices in the Court of Appeals, Pomerantz, Lauer, and Carnett, I believe, as well as to the JCCF for helping me out and representing me and taking on this battle. And of course, many, many thanks to all my supporters who stood with me, and attended these rallies to oppose the government mandates. Thank you so much. And I would also have to say it would have been impossible to do without the love and the support and the strength of my wife Jane and all my children and grandchildren who stood with me to oppose these COVID mandates.
There you go. We'll leave it there. It's a 7-minute video, so check it out if you're interested. CTV News is reporting COVID-19 rules barring protests in 21 were unconstitutional, Ontario's top court. And Ryan says, what will happen to the individuals involved in making these unconstitutional decisions? Absolutely nothing, he says. So there's more on this if you're interested. I just wanted to highlight the picture they decided to use of Randy Hillier. He's smoking a cigarette and he's taking a drag in the picture they used in the CTV News article. So they are doing everything they can to smear this man, and it's ridiculous. And there should probably be legal consequences for the crap they're pulling here. Honestly, really, it's just incredible, and it's incredibly disrespectful, I think, as well. Okay, we've got to say goodbye to the stream. So thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Hello, everyone. Thanks very much for watching. This is just a short version of a longer show. If you'd like to get the whole show, you can go over to CanadaPoly.com and sign up for a subscription. Just look in the drop-down tab, Shop and Donate, and look for subscriptions, and you'll get...
Stop. Just stop. Now what did I do? Still here? Okay. Thought I might have ended this thing. Anyways, yeah, so he's Randy Hillier. He was an MPP in Ontario. I forget if he's still running. Okay, let's switch back to the camera here. Give me a second. Here we go. Yeah, okay. So back in the chat. So yeah, he would be like your equivalent of like your state legislature, so your state representative. Like Doug Ford, you may have heard that name, is the premier of Ontario. So that's the largest Canadian province. That'd be the equivalent of your governor down in the States. And then whatever your state representatives, I guess we call them, either members of a legislative assembly in most provinces. In Ontario, it's member of provincial parliament or something, MPP. And so, yeah, just keep it going until you gotta close them eyes there, Dolores. Glad to have you with us. But yeah, that's kind of a nice bit of good news that the courts are starting to catch up to some degree. And so we want to see more victories like that, but where are the people? When are the people that perpetrated this going to be held accountable? And yeah, something that occurred to me. Did I talk about this yesterday or not? It's okay if I repeat myself, because sometimes people don't hear it the first time, and repetition sometimes is what's required to get. You need to hear new ideas over and over before you're actually willing to embrace it. But it's that Generation Alpha thing I was talking about the other night. And so these are the kids that are, anywhere from 0 to 50 age. Generation Alpha is those between 2010 and the current 2025. So we're just on the cusp of really Generation Beta, or the new babies that are being born now. And so a lot of these not a lot, but there are a number of Generation Alpha children that were born during COVID. And they're messed up. Or they were potentially messed up. And then there were some that were born just prior to COVID. And I remember meeting a guy, and he introduced me to his kids, and yeah, they're COVID babies. And I thought, wow, that's pretty wild. Okay, I guess I got to, what do? I got to go back to this. This is good. Okay, so I'm gonna have to watch the chat over here. But yeah, it's like this guy I met. He's explaining, yeah, they don't have the same kind of social exposure that other kids their age, that were born 10 years ago would enjoy. And it's like, yeah, these kids are messed up, and I wonder if they're going to remember or if they're going to forget what happened to them. And even like, say, somebody that was born in 2010, they would have been 10 years old during COVID and just traumatized by that whole thing. And so are they going to let that go? Or when they get to be 25, 30, 35, 40, when they're ready to take political office, are they going to be the ones that are going to make these people pay for what they did to them? Like, just messed up this whole cohort of people. And so, yeah, the people that were making these policies, I think you better kind of make peace with the generation you messed up and get right with God or something. Because, man, if reckoning day comes for you, I don't know what it's going to look like. Like, we're all kind of culpable to a degree. My response during COVID was, I will not comply. And so whether it was masks or distancing or gathering, is like, it wasn't so much a factor because I'm out here in the country and pretty much everybody had that same attitude. Like, but there was it was easier to resist out here. But when I went into the city, like, I couldn't go into Costco. But I did go into the big retail places, and I just told them, like, under the current public order, like I'm not required to wear a mask because I'm exempt, and they typically bought that. But down in the States, I think it wasn't as bad. I guess it depends where you were. In California, it was bad. And I'm not going to turn this into a scamdemic stream, but it's more about the response from Generation Alpha. Like when they get into places of political power and position, like are they going to lower the boom? you know, are they going to have a long memory when it comes to how they were affected and traumatized by that whole thing? Like I wouldn't want to be in that position where they suddenly turn their sights on you and they're gonna skibbity boop all over your butt, before it's gonna be wild. Like the next 20 years is gonna get wilder than even what we've experienced now. So that's just what I'm forecasting. Just catch up with chats. Fauci deserves a stainless steel toilet. Yeah, we had our guys here too. Like the guy up here in Manitoba, his name was Brent as well, Brent Rusin, but he's a medical doctor as well as a lawyer. So when he was doing press conferences, I mean, they were throwing the most ridiculous questions at him, like things that were nonsense. They weren't real questions. And especially here in Manitoba, the data that we were getting about cases and deaths and hospital beds and like none of it made any sense. It was just a complete garbled mess. The data was nonsensical, and they tried to hide as much as they could as well, just so people didn't know what was going on. And so immediately at the beginning of COVID, I said the only way to tell what's real is if we look at the overall death rate compared to the norm. And you're not going to know that till after the fact. And throughout COVID, the average, it was within statistical probability that there were no excess deaths that I'm aware of. It was all just another year. Like the overall number of deaths per year in the world varies as the population grows, but it kind of stays within a range, right? And during COVID, it's not like there was a spike of excess deaths. That they wanted you to believe that was going to happen, but it didn't happen. And so kind of I was kind of confirmed. I'm just reading here. Depopulation, weather manipulation. What's the matter? You chimes in with a no, they're not. So I'll go with that. Absolutely. They definitely are not. I have no idea what you're referring to, but maybe you can clarify. But in any case, Generation Alpha, I don't know what their response is going to be. Whether they're going to be roaming the streets with baseball bats once they realize the crime that's been perpetuated against them. Like we're talking crimes against humanity with Fauci and this gentleman I mentioned, Theresa Tam, was our chief medical officer here in Canada, and so she's, I'm assuming, a Canadian citizen but with Chinese ancestry. But you look her up online, she's a ghost. Like she doesn't exist prior to 1999. Like you can't find anything about her. And like there's some theories out there, but we don't want to get into conspiracy land. but like some of these people, I looked up like Brent Ruson's, our Manitoba chief medical officer, and like you can't find anything about his medical practice or his legal practice, but he was the guy that knew the legalese to talk to the press. And then as soon as the COVID crisis was over, he stepped down and was never to be seen from again. So it's like he was there to fill his role for a season, and then once his usefulness was gone, he just yeeted himself out of there, and who knows where he is now. But it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like we have questions. You know, you were making policy without our legislature voting on any of this. You were just making regulations and mandates and this and that. It's like, stick around for a while. And it's like that happened in all these provinces. People just walked away. Or our premier was, yeah, speaking of weather manipulation at the time, oh, what was his name? It'll come to me. But he was on clips, even on InfoWars of all places. He was the one saying, someone asked him a question about something COVID related, you know, either hospital beds or something, and he went on this weird tangent. It's like, and yes, thank you for the rain. We really need the rain, and so thanks to the people that send the rain, and we're very appreciative of it. And he got up, kind of brushed himself off, and ended the press conference like very abruptly, because he just, whatever question he was asked, I'll see if I can find that right away for you guys. So just hang tough over here. I'm going to look over here. What is this? Yeah, just this is an interesting clip. Our premier's name was Brian Pallister. So I'll just see if this clip. Yeah, here it is. Okay. You guys tell me if I'm crazy or if this is. Oh, what did I just do? Where'd Duck go? Where did you guys go? Are we still streaming? Oh, here. Here. Tell me what you make of this.
You will.
I
Wow.
haven't seen this one either.
So if we're fighting this disease from, from the sky, from the land, and from the sea, so to speak, there also seems to be another kind of hesitancy, and I'm speaking about treatment drugs. There's a hesitancy to talk about ivermectin. There's a hesitancy to try it. It seems, maybe you know something more about what our health system is doing, but there's certainly news that ivermectin, Dr. Alessandro Stanton, an oncologist working with a laboratory at Yale, believes that ivermectin could be very effective. He's worked with it. He's tried it. And, of course, he's not the only one. It's apparently a drug that does no harm. In particular, it's not got a big risk to try it, but it has helped many, many people. Are we doing anything with that? And if not, why not?
We're pursuing domestic research that we hope can lead to better vaccine availability in the future, perhaps not during this wave, but when we need boosters in coming years, or if there's a research available, and we have production of course, in Manitoba. It's our leading industry is drug manufacturing. I just want to say thanks to all concerned for the rain. Our fire situation, though not fully addressed, is been significantly reduced in terms of its danger as a consequence of this rain. And of course, when farmers make money, we're all better off. And this is $1 billion rain for our ag community. So I want to thank the people in charge for making that rain available. Keep up the great work. Thanks, everybody. Have a safe, long weekend.
Is that wild or what? Then I don't know if you noticed this, but he just stepped down and announced like he's done. Like in middle of 2022, he just announced, "I'm stepping down for personal reasons." So he says all this whack stuff, and he just kind of faded off into the sunset. And it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa! We have questions for you. Where are you going? There's a little bit of this thing called accountability that you agreed to when you took public office, and it's like I see it over and over. These people just disappear. What's up with that? You know, just bizarre stuff, right? During the just responding to Kay here with the ivermectin, I don't know. There was so much. I agree. Information, disinformation, misinformation. It was hard to sort out exactly what was good information during the old scamdemic there. And so I don't know if I have an opinion on ivermectin, but it is a dewormer. And it did seem to be that there were reports that long term in humans it causes sterility. So there goes that ties hand in hand with your depopulation agenda. So you're safe from COVID or long COVID, but now you're sterile. So it's almost like the ivermectin was the controlled opposition's way of fulfilling the agenda anyway. You know, if they couldn't kill you on a ventilator, or you survived your first 4 or 5 boosters, they were going to get you to take ivermectin and not be able to reproduce. So I don't know. That's just something I heard on the internet. I'm just talking shit on the internet here. So, by the way, this is all just political satire and parody. Don't take anything I say seriously ever. But that's where we're at, right? I was going to look up something here too, because going about 90 minutes. I don't know if we're going to get around to any tweaking tonight. I'm all tweaked out. Just looking to see if there's any tweakers to look at here online, but looks like all the tweakers have gone to bed. So yeah, I just wanted to share that thing about Jason Zwack having trouble accessing Lane's videos, and hope you enjoyed those little clips. Of course, that Alice Cooper goofy stuff, please don't send me any money. And yeah, so we'll talk about more stuff just as it occurs to me, but those were kind of the things on my mind as I was going through that Lane Myers material from 2 months ago, 3 months ago. That 122H has the potential to be a game changer. So yeah, we can't let Matt Walker just catch us asleep at the wheel. So go back, look at some of my more recent streams that are talking about 122H. I did one yesterday about the court of public opinion. And so that's what we're doing here. This isn't legal talk. It's court of public opinion convening. and airing our grievances to one another, and then figuring out the course of action we want to take. What am I looking for? Here we go. Chat stream. Chats. What's going on in the chat? Yeah, so I guess varying results with the various remedies. I try to live as clean as possible and not put anything in my body that I don't know what the reaction's going to be. So I know what coffee does to me. I know what tea does to me. I know what these delicious cookies do to me. But I've been craving some kangaroo meat lately. So I'm going to have to go on a kangaroo hunt for real. And yeah, so if there's not any questions coming from the chat, I think we'll start winding this down. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I see people are checking out the stream after the fact, so feel free to comment all the time. You can send me messages. Yeah, as far as getting updates and stuff from Potion or whoever else is doing stuff that knows. I'm kind of out of the loop, so I'm just gonna come on and talk about this stuff if I have something relevant to say. So it just seems the last few days this 122H is kind of it's sort of important to talk about or remind people, like, this hasn't gone away, and so you've got till May 1st to make your comment, and we'll see what the reaction is over the next few days if people need help figuring out how to do that or what they should say. Well, that's always something we could discuss too, but you kind of want to address what Matt Walker said in the petition and refute it and say, he's saying this, but this is what I want the Supreme Court to know about this. This is wrong based on this, because you're trying to convince the Supreme Court justices in Arizona that they should tell Matt Walker to go kick rocks or go suck a bag of dicks or eat a bag of dicks. Or you'd probably prefer to suck them, but yeah, you're addressing the Supreme Court. And so kind of frame your comment as if you're testifying to the court and not just call them a bunch of black robe tyrants or whatever. That's not going to help anybody. And for real, this is the Lane Myers rule that they're trying to bring in. So they've created this villain and now turned him into a political prisoner. And yeah, we're just doing the best we can out here. As far as you can, go check out some of Lane's old videos. That even the Shannon Walker stuff, the Jason Zwack stuff is helpful. Oh yeah, the other thing I was gonna talk about. Okay, don't go away. I've got one more thing to talk about. Court April 15th, yeah. Okay, let's look this up quickly. Okay, let me go find it first. I was saying this yesterday. Okay, let's get you back onto here. Okay, so this Arizona, we're not going to go through this rules of the Supreme Court, but you can look it up. This is the petition to amend Supreme Court Rule 122 by Matthew Waka. Matthew Waka, the tweaker. Let's go to the home page, because I was trying to find what I could about Brother Lane. And so I wanted to look up his cases. And find a case right here. So you click on that, you figure, okay, here we go. Oh, no, really? Okay, this is like, what do you call it? Oh, really? Okay. I thought that was like a denial of service bug or something, but oh, brother, go through this. Okay, give me a second here, folks. QGMRG. So we're looking for Myas. Leinster. Search. So this is for all Arizona courts that I'm looking. And the only thing they've got are his municipal court appearances. All these case numbers, all these have been dismissed. So if you're looking for stuff in relation to his current charges, I have no idea where to find it. Case search, help. I can't find a court docket anywhere. It's Pima County. Oh, I guess maybe if we went to Pima County Court. But you'd think you'd be able to find it here. So, yeah, I guess I'm going to have to look at this maybe tonight or tomorrow. See what I can find if there's a Pima County courthouse site. Because I haven't been able to find anything about his pending hearings or anything. So I guess, yeah, it's probably, I mean, you'd think it would be in the Arizona court website and it would just take you to the Pima County, like the New Mexico, I was saying the New Mexico court site, it takes you to every district and every magistrate court, every judicial court. Like this is garbage in Arizona. Like there's this lack of transparency. They're trying to be as vague as possible. That's been my experience. So it appears they're even afraid AI is my reluctant prophet could beat them with one hand and one keyboard tied behind his back. And so yeah, that was the other thing. Like I can't, you would think if this is the Arizona Judicial Branch, unless it's all the Supreme Court stuff, but like here's his cases from whenever, September. No, that's his birthday. We'll click on one of these, and this is all that O'Reilly's phony baloney stuff. But they're all dismissed, right? Dismissed on motion request of prosecutor. So it's got all the filings under each case, but it's all these dismissed dealio. Booing at the city hall or whatever, like they kind of merged all those cases into one hearing, or it was just so confusing. Like Lane hasn't helped the matter in that he was racking up charges every time he set foot out his door, but the way they intentionally made this as vague as possible. Anyways, you get the idea. I'm gonna turn that off and go back to the camera. But like, does that make any sense to you guys? Like, it's just kangarooism to me. And so none of this procedure seems to make any logical sense to a normal human person. So maybe if you're in that role, especially Arizona, we've got these kind of quirks and specific procedures that we follow, but it just like, how come I can't find his case? How come I can't find what I'm looking for? Why is it so painful using your system? How come I can't get through to the Pima County Adult Correction Center, on an app that I'm paying money for to get through to this person? Like, there's no logical reason why any of that is happening unless they're trying to punish all of us as well as Lane. So yeah, you're all a part of this. Find out what your role needs to be, whether it's to participate by commenting or get on your channel, start a channel, get the word out, go on socials, whether Facebook, Twitter, get this information out there, or get your perspective out there. And I said, that's what I appreciate about Jason Zwack. I think I left a comment for him. He's like, I like your hearing your perspective because it's a different perspective. Like I'm seeing it from my perspective, but I'm not even in the States. I'm not that familiar with American law, but it's very similar. It's all based on British common law and Magna Carta, but that's kind of a dusty ass legal document that they don't even pay attention to anymore. And your Constitution, well, that's basically not worth the paper it's written on. And just like our Constitution, is just it's a fiction. It's fairy tales to keep us from revolting. And so yeah, I'm not advocating for sedition or treason or use of force to get our means to an end, kind of the ends justify the means kind of thing. But it is getting more ridiculous day by day. And yeah, we've got an election coming up in Canada, and it looks like they're just going to install the person they want. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what box you check. It's like they've got the candidate that they're ready to be. The puppet masters have got their puppet in place, and we're just supposed to clap when the show is sufficiently entertaining enough. So it's sad, but yeah, what do we do from here? So it's kind of what Lane has inspired me to do, and I've said this, is using social media to publicly shame and humiliate these corrupt officials. I don't know what's a dishonorable members of the public service. Like, how do you make it sound better than it is? Like, there's no good way to describe these people, whether they conned you through the scamdemic or they're conning you through being tax leeches and enslaving you and bankrupting you. There's another topic we'll cover. I don't want to mention it today, but maybe tomorrow. I got to do a little bit of research on it, but it's something Lane had touched on, but he never brought it up either. So I'll keep you in suspense. I'll make it come back. End All Immunity says, welcome on in, End All Immunity. They're doing anything they can to avoid public scrutiny. Secret court. It looks that way. I don't know. That regarding 122, Matt Walker feels it needs to be a secret court. What they're doing with Lane is just every dirty, and it goes back to hearings that were taking place in October, November, December. That they did him dirty, right? And it's catching up to him now. And I don't know if there's any way to reverse the things they did and kind of start from scratch. There might be a way. Lane has asked about the writ of habeas corpus, but I mean, I'm not filing stuff from Canada to help him, so I got to do a little more research on that. But it's basically that prima facie evidence that they have to, the state, the prosecutor needs to to be able to justify their actions and what they're doing. Like, show me the victim. Like, show me the injured party. And so it's wild stuff, man. Keep the bell, yeah. Notifications, that's good. What was I just gonna say too? Yeah, a lot of what I'm doing, like, this is just intellectualism here. Like, and what that is I saw a great video by Thomas Sowell the other day. You know, a great American thinker as well. There's academics and there's like engineers, people that design stuff, but intellectuals are the people whose only product is food. Plants love carbon dioxide. What happens if we realize at a certain point that all those policies were wrong? The intellectuals who told us we ought to take these measures, well, there's no punishment, there's no accountability for them. But if you're an engineer, a civil engineer, and you build a bridge, design a bridge, get it constructed, and it falls down, the failure of your application of your intellectual knowledge is going to get your engineer stamp removed, and you're going to be probably in jail or sued into oblivion. Like, you're not going to be an engineer anymore. But with intellectualism, there's no repercussions for bad decisions. And so, yeah, what I'm putting out there, it's essentially intellectualism. I may be right, I may be wrong. It's kind of YouTube opinions and stuff you say on the internet. But all these, and I just used climate change as an example. I'm trying to see if YouTube, if the algorithm hones in on some of the keywords that I may or may not choose to use during a live stream. But yeah, with intellectualism, you get it wrong, no problem. You still get your pension. You still get your benefits. You don't, maybe you won't get elected in the next time you run for whatever office you claim to want to be. I just noticed you guys are looking at the edge of my computer the whole time, or monitor. There we go. And so, yeah, that's a little frustrating, was like all these people that were making policy during the scamdemic, like, they just scurried away, never to be seen from again. And there's no chasing after them to bring them back before the court of public opinion, because the court of public opinion is pretty much weighed in on that matter, as well as others. All these think tanks and committees and whatnot, like, they don't produce anything but ideas and policies, and we're paying for that. We're paying for all of that, or they're robbing us in order to perpetuate their religious cult of intellectualism. So I think that's enough. I'm worn out. You guys are probably worn out by my intellectual ramblings as well. And yeah, their vagaries it's kind of, they're intentionally obscuring the ability for the average person to comprehend what's going on. So they use the coded language, or they use a procedure that is going to bring about the end that they want, and you actually sign off on it or consent to it in some way because you just don't understand what's going on. And that's dirty pool, right? So I don't know if there's much of a delay in the chat, so I'm just going to take a sip of tea, and you guys can weigh in with your last comments. But I think we'll kind of start winding this down for tonight, because like I said, all the tweakers have gone to sleep, so we can't even make fun of them. Think. But yeah, my thanks to Jason Zwack for providing a little bit of a springboard to talk about in this live stream. And unqualified immunity, yeah, there's people are getting tired of this. I think that's intentional, just to get people riled to the point where they snap, and that's not going to be good for anybody. And all immunity, like Orange Hitler wanted to give absolute immunity to all police officers. Like, huh? What? I'm not a Trump hater. I'm not a Trump licker either. But no, 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 no. Don't. It's not what we want. No, don't give the piggers absolute immunity. No, 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 no. Bad idea. Bad idea. And judicial immunity, yeah, like I just see prosecutorial misconduct over so much of this Tucson and Pima County stuff. I mean, that's my opinion. That's how I really feel about it, Matthew Aloysius Walker. Like, come at me, bro. Like, I just calls them the way I sees them. And every other prosecutor, associated with the Laura Conover cult, or whatever you want, cabal. It's a dangerous game you guys are playing. Like, you're playing with people's lives, and yeah, what happens when the wrong person comes across your path? Like, that's not a threat. It's just Lane, in what he was doing prior to getting locked in a cage, seemed like he had the goods on some of these people to end careers. And that takes me kind of back to what I was saying earlier. Getting all this stuff on social media and humiliating these people, get them to step down out of office, never to return again, so that you can limit the damage they do. Unfortunately, there's always going to be someone willing to step in their place and cause even more damage. But we should make it so distasteful to even run for public office. It should be such a high bar to reach. And it's like the most scummiest, tweakiest, dishonest, corruptest, wokest, anti-Americanist, anti-Canadianist people get into office, and we just sit there and watch. Like, I don't know. Like, the people get the leaders they deserve, and so we're just gonna ignore these politicians. And we're gonna live our lives. We're gonna set up our own economies, our own parallel societies, our own way of doing business, and we're just gonna ignore you. And then after that, we're gonna ignore you some more. And then when we're tired of that, we're gonna ignore you again until you just go away. And then we're gonna make your job as difficult as possible. Like, we're gonna be ungovernable. That's kind of my philosophy. Be ungovernable. And it's not being a wacko or start going crazy. Like, you know what it takes to be a good person, how to fit into society. You don't need government telling you how to do anything to live your life. And so wherever you can, just ignore them, and then when you're done that, ignore them a little bit more. And then the following year, ignore them some more after that. And maybe they'll just go away. They'll realize how irrelevant they are. That's my dream. That's my anarchist utopia, I guess. But yeah, voting is kind of for suckers. Like I don't know, or it's like elections and campaigning. It's political theater. It's entertaining to watch, but I'm not. It's not something I want to participate in. Just because the jokers that they put before us, like, man, like really, Kamala Harris against Donald Trump or Joe Biden. Anyways, what do you guys think? Biden and Clinton, 2028? That'd be a winning ticket. Hillary? Joe? Sleepy Joe? Let's go, Brandon. I'd pay to see that. Anyways, I think that's it. Let's say goodnight and then pick this up the next time. What is it? Today's Tuesday. I got my buddy helping me out for the next couple of days, so we'll see. Maybe we'll do something tomorrow evening. There's some stuff I need to look up as far as things I want to talk about on live streams. And then we'll reconvene this court of whatever this is. Court of public disgust another time. All right, so I hope you had a good one. Let's figure out how to stop this thing. No, that's not how. I think if I do this, click on that.